All right. Hey, everyone. It's Chris Petri. Thanks for coming by. We're going to have an absolutely fantastic time doing some portrait work today on this video, on this tutorial. So strap in, have all your stuff ready, your paints, your brushes, your paper, and we're going to get started in just a second. We're just going to do a rock star. We're going to do another rock star. So we're here kind of just having a fun time doing portrait work using sepia tone paint. We're going to cover all the details here. So we have some sepia tone paint, and we're just going to do a basic fundamental portrait tutorial here where you can kind of get the hang of it, the feel for it, of just creating some beautiful light and shadow in your portrait paintings. And this way you can use that to propel yourself forward once you start getting into mixing colors with flesh tones, things like that. Start out with the sepia tone paint like we're doing here in this video, and you'll just have a phenomenal time. It's a fun time, and let's get started in just a second. All right, so we're moving right along here. We just saw the finished painting. So what we like to do first is, I always like to a lot of times I tape around my border of my my paper, just so there's a nice crisp, clean line around the painting once I'm completed with it. It looks so much better if you're just like taking all your paintings that you're creating and you're stacking them in a folder or a box, a shoe box, or a plastic tub, whatever, however you store your paintings as you're working. It's kind of nice when you have a tape border around it, because once you're done, you just peel the tape off and you have a nice, crisp, clean border around it. So it almost looks like a mat is on top of the painting, which really looks nice. That really does kind of, you feel like you have a really finished painting when you're done, even if it's just a composition that you're working on and what have you. So, okay, I did a quick border here with a dark pencil, a 2B, just so we have a good border. We can see that here on cam. And let's, I think I'll use a number 7. So this is a Pentel 120 A3DX 0.7 millimeter. This is a mechanical pencil. You just take your thumb and depress the end of the mechanical pencil, and you get instant lead coming out of there. So this way you don't have to sharpen your pencil as much. You can use a school or office pencil too if you have a pencil sharpener. So you can just as well use a nice simple pencil sharpener like this, and you can, if you have a pencil sharpener, you can just sharpen it up as you go. Either way is fine. So again, we're doing the portrait. I would say this: if you want to do portraits and then you're really kind of like saying to yourself, "Oh, it's I can't do it. It's way beyond my talent. I don't have the talent to do portraits." I say don't ever feel that way. Just go for it. Do it, because portraits are so much fun. Just doing portraits are really fun, and you just go for it. You keep trying it. You do it over and over again. Eventually, you get used to it. You figure out the basic layout of the human head. So let's just take a look at that quick. This is one of the pictures I have in my new book coming out soon, and I guess the next 2 or 3 months my book should be out on Amazon. And I do cover a little bit of portrait work in my book and figure painting. Not a lot, but a little bit, because I realize most of you that are out there, that you follow me all the time, you're maybe not as really geared up for doing portraits and figure work. It's maybe not your favorite. I kind of shied away from it myself for many years because it was so difficult, but I realized it isn't that difficult. It's actually pretty straightforward. It's just a matter of getting in there and doing it, and that's why I'm doing this video. So let's just look at the human head. It's like an egg shape for the most part. So we're going to just use this same formula right here, and all you'll have to do at home is take this formula right here, jot it down on some printer paper or a watercolor paper, and you just write down the basic layout of the human head. So basically you have your eyes, your lips, your nose, your chin, your hairline. All of them kind of fall on predictable, pretty much the same layout. So the layout of the human head is pretty much the same all the time. So you're going to have your hairline's a little bit below the top of the head. So you have your hairline here. And then once you get to your hairline right here, then you just go down and do 1/3. And that's about the eyes, the top of the eyes. Then another third is the bottom of the nose. And another third is the chin. So basically you're working with thirds, 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3. And most of you are used to that space divisions of the thirds, because I use the thirds space division a lot in my landscapes and seascapes and any kind of paintings like, that. So you're kind of already familiar with that. So that's really the basics of it. And, you have a center line, of course. So your center line would be right down the center of the head. And that's really the basic of it. So let's use this basic format. And again, you would write this down on a piece of paper. If you buy my new book, you'll have it. So you won't have to worry. You'll have it on hand at all times. You just pick up my book, open up to the last page. Maybe you'll put a little dog ears on the page like this. You'll take this and make a dog ear there. And this way you'll always have that. So if you're going to do a portrait painting, you'll just you'll open up the book, my new book, and you'll say, oh, there it is right there. There's the layout of the human head. And it gives you all your main space divisions of your head. So we'll use this right now to do our first start here as we do our human head. So I'm going to do another rock star, one of my favorite rock stars. I just typed in any old rock star. I'm fooling around. I just typed into YouTube rock star pictures, and then a couple rock star pictures. I mean, there's like literally hundreds and thousands of rock stars out there. And, so that's what I did. I just said, those are always fun to do because they look always cool. They got like long hair. A lot of times they got sunglasses on. Actually, this figure here, this portrait has sunglasses. So let's start it out. Okay, so again, we're going to do the egg shape of the head, but this here, I notice there's a slight tilt in the head. So the head is not straight, the head is tilted like this. So this rock star is kind of maybe tilting his head a little bit, and maybe he's thinking or something in his mind, and maybe thinking of a question, or he's in thought, and he's tilting his head just a little bit, and that makes for a much more interesting photograph or much more interesting painting if we're doing our painting here. All right, so we have the head, and let's do our space division. So we have the hairline up here. So the top of the skull is up here, and the hair, and this is like the hairline there. Once you get to the hairline, then you're going to have thirds here. So you're going to have 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, like this. And you kind of feel it out and say, okay, yeah, it's about 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. Then you're kind of set. Maybe you draw a center line lightly, super lightly like that. And then you'll work from there, and you'll say, okay, well, I know the first third from the hairline down is the eyes, the eye sockets. So we always know if you have your center line here, you're going to have one eye length in between the two eye sockets. So that's one eye length there on the center of the head here, the center line. Then you have your eye sockets like that. So you have your two eye sockets. You can even think of them as glasses. Pretend you're thinking of when you're creating your layout for your portrait paintings. Imagine always that you're drawing glasses on your figure. Not that you're really drawing glasses, although I'm not trying to be funny here, but this figure actually, this portrait painting does have glasses. So we're actually going to be painting in some glasses on this figure, this portrait. But you want to think of it that same way. Your eye sockets are about the size of glasses, of a normal pair of sunglasses or regular prescription glasses. So then you have your eye sockets like that. Then you have the bottom of the nose here. So you just put a little dash line there for the bottom of the nose. Then you have in between the bottom of the nose, you have the lips, 1/3, chin, 1/3, and bottom of the chin, the last third. So you have the chin, the lips, the nose, eye sockets, and you're all set. And then if you have This portrait has long hair. This rock star has long hair, so there's not going to be any ears. I'm not going to do any ears here. This is going to be just hair and sunglasses and lips and nose and mouth and chin. And a little bit of, we'll do the neck here. There's a neck line here. So there's some shadows. There's a lot of shadows here. And there's a lot of dark shadows on this side. So I'm not going to worry about that too much, but let's get the basic idea here. The hair. And there's shoulders over here. They're sort of across here like so. So the shoulders are like that. Okay. Now, like we were saying, once you get your basic layout of your eye sockets, bottom of nose, lips, chin, you're pretty much going to start going in and doing a little more detail. Now, we did say that this portrait does have sunglasses. So we'll work on that. So what I'll do is I'll just gently lift up a little bit of pencil lines with my kneaded eraser. And I'm just going to do the sunglasses here. And these are pretty big sunglasses, actually. These are like aviator sunglasses. Like that. And then I'll start to work on the nose, and I guess I'm going to make the nostrils just very lightly. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. I have a little bit of a cough. And always remember, when you're doing your portraits, you're not really looking to get every detail in with your pencil drawing. You're just trying to get the overall basic layout of the head, the eyes, the eye sockets, the nose, the mouth, the chin. Once you get the basic layout of your portrait, then you go in and you work everything with your paints. You're going to focus in on the lights and shadows. I hope you understand that. I'm going to do a lot more paintings of figures and portraits. I'm going to actually transition over to Patreon. So you look for that maybe in the next 3 to 6 months, maybe, or 9 months in 2023. I'm going to try to create a Patreon site where we do everything portraits and figure work, because I know, again, many of you, you're probably just watching this and you're not really going to try it. I wish you will. I hope you will try this, but I know some of you are just going to tune right out and say, no, I don't want to do it. It's too difficult, but it's not that hard. Stick with me here. Have fun. But in any case, I will do a separate channel, Patreon channel, for all my figures and portrait work, and I'm going to do a lot of that. So this way, those of you that are interested, even if it's only 10 or 20% of my students on YouTube, if I know you're out there, some of you really are excited about portraits and figure work. I'm going to create that special channel for us. We'll get together and do a lot of that work together. And I won't put it on my regular YouTube channel, because I know most of everyone that's on my YouTube channel right now, all my students and all my friends here, most of you don't like to do this type of stuff, but I'm just kind of covering it now so that you kind of get prepped for those of you that do really like the portraits and figures. You'll come over to my Patreon channel. That's all. Just wanted to mention that. And I always mention too, if you haven't subscribed and this is your first time on my channel, here on the right-hand side below, there's the subscribe button. Hit subscribe. Please hit the subscribe button. This way, at least YouTube will send you my new videos coming out each week, week after week, month after month, year after year. I'm making videos on watercolor, everything watercolor. So I don't really do this type of work that much on YouTube with portraits and figures, but when I do, in any case, you know, if you're not really interested in it, you won't be watching it, or you might just watch it and see what I'm doing, but you're not really going to try it. But in any case, subscribing is always a great thing. This way you don't lose me, because you're going to see a lot of different things I do in watercolor. This is only one aspect of watercolor, obviously, figure painting. We have landscapes, boats, seascapes, city scenes. We have beautiful still life paintings. We have flower paintings we do here on my channel. So we do tons of interesting watercolor and, you know, paintings and tutorials. So if you're just here for the first time and you say, oh, well, I'm not so keen on portrait paintings, well, that's all right. You'll notice if you go back and look at my archive videos, I do a lot of mostly all of the other watercolor genres, which would be seascapes, landscapes, cityscapes, flowers, still life paintings, boats, and ink and wash paintings. So trust me, you're going to have plenty of things to work on. So let's continue to work and get better at our watercolors, and let's continue with this here. So again, we're just keeping it simple here. So we're getting the nose here right now, the bottom of the nose. And then we're going to look at the, start to work with the lips of this rock star. And once I start working in the lips, I'm going to and usually if your eyes are about here, center of the eye sockets, corners of the mouth are usually about where the eyes are. You might see a little bit of eyes through the sunglasses here. Not so much, but there might be a little. And then we have our bottom lip here. There's a shadow under the bottom of the lip. There's the chin, and then there's a dark shadow under the chin. And again, we're going to work carefully with our shadows, our darks, and our lights as we go into our paint and start painting. So again, don't do too much sketching and painting. I mean sketching and drawing. Save your energy for your painting, because you're going to really... that's where you're going to do most of your work. Okay, so I'm going to get the shadow on his nose here. It's over here. Okay, and there's some more sunglasses over here. And I'm just trying to get the overall idea there. Okay, that looks good. So that's all you want to do. Get your basic format of your human head. We did the human egg shape of the head, a little bit, you know, larger at the top, and then it kind of comes down into like almost like a, you know, a point down here where the chin is. We got our eye sockets in, our hairline, and then we just divided our head into thirds. One third here starts at the hairline to the eyes, the eyebrows. Then a third down is bottom of the nose. So we have another third down here, bottom of the nose. And then another third is the bottom of the chin. And then from there, you work your bottom of your nose to your lips. That's one third. Top of your chin is another third, and bottom of your chin is another third. So you're breaking everything down into thirds. Larger thirds for your hairline, eyes, bottom of nose. And then you break it down into thirds from your bottom of your nose to your chin. Bottom of nose, lips, one third. Lips to the top of the chin, one third. And then one third down to the bottom of the chin from the top of the chin. So that's basically your, you know, your basic layout. And again, we're going to save most of our energy and focus when we start doing our paints. So I'm going to take my sepia paint, Winsor & Newton sepia paint. We're going to just put a little bit out on our palette here. I have a small palette, just a little section of a palette I had left over from a palette that is sitting in my studio. I don't need a large palette for this, just one bit of color pigment, which is the sepia tone by Winsor Newton. I'll have just two brushes. I'm going to use a number 10 Da Vinci Maestro travel brush. So that's going to be the larger brush for like the hair. And then I'm going to use a Da Vinci Maestro travel brush number 4 for the details. So for the eyes, the nose, the lips. So I'll do my smaller details with the smaller brush. And then when I get to the hair and the larger areas, I'm going to use this larger brush. So you can see quite a bit of difference there on the sizes of brush. So you want to use a really small brush for your small details, for your lips, your nose, your finer details. And then you break in and use your large brush for your hair, sunglasses, maybe the shirt, shadowing. So you'll feel it out, but we'll start with the small, working the small details first maybe. Maybe we'll start with the large. We'll see how it goes. But we'll be right back. I'm just going to take a quick break, and then we'll start up our painting portion of this video. All right, we're getting started. Let's go right in. I mixed up some. Let me clean the water pail. So I'm putting some fresh, clean water in the water pail. And again, have fun with this. Just go for it. You know, you need to do like, I don't know, you need to do like 10, 15, 20 of these to get the hang of it, to get the start of the hang of it. So don't worry about it. Keep going forward. Just grab any old picture of any old person. Doesn't matter who it is. And just start painting and doing it. So we got our sepia tone paint. So I'm just going to mix up some wash. Now this here, I think I wanted to do, I kind of see that there is some white in here. I don't know how that happened. So I'm going to go over here and do this down here. I guess I had some white up here. That's also helpful too. If you have a little bit of white sometimes to make it like opaque, you might want to make some opaque looking washes. But let's just go right in and start doing some of the glasses here. So I'm just going to go in and get some really large washes of the glasses here. And that should really get us off to a good start. If you get your sunglasses in to start with, then all of a sudden, you know, you're already like feel like you're really moving along nicely with your painting. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to make sure I get started well. And each painting is different, so you need to sometimes start in different areas. I'll tell you what, I'm going to stick with this game plan. Glasses first, like that. Then I'm going to look carefully at the glasses and realize that they're darker here in the center by the bridge of the nose. They're a little darker, the glasses. These over here seem to be a little darker. This side of the head and sunglasses seems to be a little bit darker. And I noticed too, I need to get the angle on the glasses the same as the head. I noticed the head is on a little bit of an angle. The head is not straight like this. The head of this rock star is a little bit like this. So the head is tilted this way. So I want to make sure my glasses are tilted, right? I don't want to make the glasses straight across like this. I want to make sure I'm tilting the glasses the same way I tilted the head. You can see the lips are tilted and the bottom of the nose is. That's why I'm making sure my glasses are tilted too. It's easy to sometimes lose track of something like that when you're painting. So just, you know, recall you have a tilt on this painting. So you want to keep that in mind as you go. And so Already I feel like this is going good. And then there's the eyebrows across here. So this rock star, his eyebrows are a little bit above his glasses here. Like that. And let's see what else we have. Let's shift gears, and I'll tell you what, let's kind of stick with this too. Let's start getting in some shadows along the side of the nose here. And there's some shadows down here. And what I'll do is when I start to work a little bit and I want to keep a little bit of a drier brush, I'll rinse my brush, tap it on a tissue or a paper towel or my apron just to take off some of the water. I don't want too much water flooding out onto my paper right now, so that's why I do that. So then now I'm looking at here and I see there's some shadowing underneath the glasses. And I'll start to work some of the lighter tonal values on the forehead of this figure, this portrait. There's some lighter wash up here, so it's not as dark as the glasses, but it's like that. And again, we're having fun here. And you can use the actual wash right from the sunglasses to start making shadows along the side of the face over here. So there's shadows there. There's shadows under his nose. And it kind of circles around this way. And it gets dark over here underneath. So we'll put some darker shadows under there. And that's all you're doing, is just really keying in on the darks and lights. So I'm just looking at the darks and lights of everything and saying, all right, under here, under his chin, even up over here, on the other side of his jaw line, you have dark shadowing. And then it goes this way, the shadowing, like that. It's quite dark. You can sometimes adjust things a little bit. Okay, so that's his. And I'm just going to start doing his hair. It's pretty dark here, so I'm just going to start getting in the darks. Quite a bit of darks. It all flows together with his hair here. Like this. So I'm just going to try to start. And again, your hair, you're not going to want to fool around too much with your hair and get too involved with a lot of detail. Just get a couple good washes on here and you should be all right. And then so I'm just going to use my brush. And I'm going to start trying to get some of the other shadows under here, underneath the lip. Bottom of the lip there, there's a shadow like that. And then I did mention we will use the smaller brush. Let's use the smaller brush right now. Let's get the smaller brush in here. We're going to do some of the lips here, so we want to use a smaller brush. You could use the big brush if you want, maybe for the whole painting. Okay, and then there's a little bit of darks under here, like that. And this sort of flows like that. And then we have a little bit of shadowing under here, like so. On the chin, you notice that's lighter though. So everything is sort of, you're always looking at how dark and light is it. The darker shadow under the chin here is dark. Under the lip, under the bottom lip here. Sometimes if you go over a spot too much, you can lift up like that. Okay. And then I noticed there is a little bit of shadowing on the chin, but not a lot. It's pretty light, and there's dark under there. And that's pretty light here. Okay, now we're going to go in and do a little more. There's a bit of a dimple here by the by the brow, and there's another one here too, like so. And let's get some darker darks under here, under the nose. Okay, so the nose has a dark under there. And then we have another nostril here. We're not making a super big deal about the nostrils, but we want to get them in there. And then there's another shadow under here alongside this nostril over here. And there's a shadow along the bridge of the nose here. And then there's a little bit of a round section on the nose, the end of the nose there. So I want to try to get that anyway. That looks all right. And then there's some more shadowing there, but it's not a lot. Let's just do a little bit of that where the cheek is here. There's a shadow by the cheek there, like that. And then there's another bit of shadow there, like that. Then there's darker dark there. And then we're going to start to work in the hair. So we'll go to our larger brush again. So we're going to go with the number 10 Da Vinci Maestro travel brush, Kolinsky sable brush, and we're going to start to get the hair in on this side. So, and the hair flows next to the and we got and we're trying to just capture the darks and lights of everything, and I try to try to just get a couple of lines in like this here just to... And again, if we don't do too much, we'll be all right. You know, we don't want to go overboard and start doing too much so lots of hair. This musician happens to have a lot of hair. And then we want to get some more shadowing in here. There, like that. Kind of flow that into the glasses. And again, we're having fun. I'm splashing a little bit here. Put a couple splashes on here and there. Get a couple of scratches in there, here and there, just for the hair, just to give it a little more definition. Okay. And I sort of softened up where the chin and the neck meet. I don't want to go too much of a drastic dark and light there where the chin and the neck sort of meet there. So you can actually blot up a little bit with a tissue if you want. And then maybe we can just add a little dark there. And let's get that little bit of a shadow there. And a little bit of a dark there. And it is a little bit dark there. And I'm trying to just get that little bit of a darker dark over on this side there. And over here too. So the shadow is more over on this side. The light is coming from over here, so you can almost make our light insignia over here like so. Light's coming from the right, this way. And again, I'm just having fun. You can see I'm not really getting too much involved in super fine detail, just trying to get the basic darks and lights of everything. And I think that's pretty good. You could make your glasses a little bit larger if you want. But I think that's good. So you kind of see what I did here. I focused on the darks and lights, essentially. Okay, I hope you had fun. Try this one. The great thing about this one is the glasses, right? The glasses really help us because we don't have to worry too much about the details of the eyes. You can just get in there and use some large sunglasses. That gives you right away a little bit of a break on having to work on the details of the eyes of the portrait. So when you do sunglasses or glasses, but especially dark sunglasses, right away you get a big break right there. You say, wow, all I have to really focus in on is the nose and the lips and the chin. And then, once you're doing your hair, you're pretty much home free and you have the painting done. So let's just peel off the tape here, see if we can kind of isolate the painting a little bit. And it looks much better once you lift up the tape like that. And I hope you will keep coming back and following along on my channel. We're doing watercolors, everything watercolors. This happens to be some portrait work we're doing, but trust me, we're doing boats, flowers, landscape paintings, house paintings, seascapes. We do everything, still life paintings. And please keep coming back, keep practicing, and you will get the hang of it. No matter what subject matter you're going to tackle, I'm sure you're going to be able to succeed at it. It's just a matter of practicing the steps over and over again until you're comfortable with those methods and those steps that you're going to use to accomplish your painting. So here we covered the basics. If you go back to the beginning of the painting, you'll see we did a basic rough drawing of the painting of the human head. We laid out the basic dimensions and the layout of the human face, which is thirds. Thirds, which is you start out with the hairline, you go down 1/3. You have your eyes. You go down another third, you have the bottom of your nose, and you go down one more third, and you're at the bottom of your chin. Pretty straightforward and simple. And then once you go from there, you're all set. You just have to get the sketch in, a rough sketch, and then you're just in with your paints, especially if you're going to do the sepia paint, which I use all the time, where you just capture the lights and darks of things, and that'll really give you a head start with portrait painting. If you can just get the idea in your mind, you want to make sure you're getting the lights and darks of everything pretty close to accurate. That'll give you like a huge head start, because then once you start mixing colors, that's a lot more difficult and challenging. If you're going to start mixing flesh tones like reds and yellows for flesh tones and blues for like shadowing and things and hair colors, once you start getting into mixing colors with your portraits, that's a whole nother level of challenge and complexity. So if you can use sepia paint and just start getting used to the idea of getting your lights and your darks pretty close to accurate in what you need to get for your painting to look realistic and believable, then you're going to kind of be way ahead of the program. Then after that, once you're used to that with the sepia paint, getting the lights and darks, then you can go in and get your colors and start mixing in your reds, your cadmium red and raw siennas and cadmium reds for your flesh tones, a little bit of maybe burnt sienna, maybe a little bit of yellow ochre, maybe a little bit of cerulean blue for cool shadowing colors. But trust me, you'll get the hang of all that once you do this first. Get your sepia tone paint. It's real simple. You just grab one tube of sepia tone paint like this. You put it into a simple palette like this or whatever palette you have, and you just paint. And you just get used to doing the lights and the darks of your portrait. And once you start capturing the feel of the light and the shadows of your portraits, that's going to really go a long way. Okay, so we'll be back in, before you know it, doing more portrait paintings as well as everything else. Seascapes, landscapes, flower paintings, still life. We're going to do everything watercolor. So we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.